In 2015, a number of notable talents were released by WWE. They would either ask for their release or were released by the company that did not see a future for them within it. In several of these cases, they proved that there was life after wrestling. Some moved on, but others stayed in the industry and others retired. Wrestling in WWE is quite demanding, as the travel and busy schedule can take a toll. Now, whether they became real estate agents, competed on the indie circuit, or became authors, all those released in 2015 moved on to bigger and better things. Who were they, and what ultimately became of their careers? My name is John, and here are 10 wrestlers released by WWE in 2015 and where they are now. Fans may remember that Brad Maddox first emerged on the WWE main event scene as a referee. In this role as a ref, he became quite prominent during the Ryback CM Punk feud, and in February of 2013, he became the Raw general manager and held on to that position for a couple of years before being ousted. After that, he was taken off television, though he performed at live events as a part of a team with Adam Rose, known as Beef Mode. The duo never appeared on screen, and Maddox was released in the fall of 2015. Since his departure from WWE, Maddox has competed on the indie circuit in various roles, either as a GM, referee, or a competitor. He continues to use various platforms to make himself seen by fans, primarily in the United States. AJ Lee's initial training in wrestling occurred during 07 and 09 under the former Ring of Honor World Champion Jay Lethal. She transitioned to the WWE developmental program in Florida Championship Wrestling and quickly rose up the ranks until she eventually made it onto the main roster. Lee was involved in several storylines as either a general manager, girlfriend, valet, or the Divas champion. She feuded with real-life friend Caitlyn after betraying her trust and manipulating their on-screen friendship. She and her frenemy Paige faced each other for the Divas title on several occasions. Today, Lee is a published author, having published her memoir, Crazy is My Superpower, that discusses her life. She is also an advocate for animal welfare and strongly supports education and awareness about mental health. During his time in NXT and later WWE, Gabriel certainly didn't hesitate to showcase everything and anything he was capable of doing. His athletic ability certainly stood out within the Nexus and the core. The South African star took part in various feuds and angles, even returning to NXT to team up with Tyson Kidd towards the end of his run. When he worked alongside Kidd, he was able to tap into his inner heel, showing just how menacing he could be. After departing WWE, Gabriel would re-emerge as Darewolf PJ Black and was able to showcase on the independent scene what he was capable of doing, free from the restrictions of WWE. He has competed all over the world and has gained prominence doing so, having appeared for Evolve and most prominently the El Rey Network's Lucha Underground program. Black has definitely built a name for himself and become a hot commodity. During his time in NXT, CJ Parker was an emerging talent who portrayed a character that was akin to a modern-day hippie advocating for the environment and love over war. However, his character went from having the support of the fans to apparently grating on them to the point that they turned on him and began to jeer. He responded by blaming the fans for the position that our planet was in. Parker's character was generating a reaction, but he wasn't getting much of an opportunity. After leaving the company, he found that he had the freedom that many don't have during their time in WWE developmental. Today, Parker is known as Juice Robinson and is prominent in the New Japan Pro Wrestling promotion. His in-ring style is tremendous, but to hear some of his promos today is to realize what fans missed out on during his time in NXT. The future is bright for the man known as Juice. After joining WWE following a career in independent promotions such as Combat Zone Wrestling, Solomon Crowe eventually emerged on NXT TV as a computer hacker that would control the arena environment. The stocky size of Crowe was no indicator of how talented he was. A better indicator of his skill would be the stretch muffler finisher he used, with which he finished off many of his opponents. While competing in WWE is a dream for many, for Crowe, it didn't allow him the creative freedom he needed. The ever-ambitious Crowe departed from WWE in 2015 and hasn't looked back since. He left on good terms, but currently shows no desire to go back to the promotion. Today he competes under the name Sami Callihan, which he has used for most of his independent career. and leads the OVE faction in Impact Wrestling. His character has generated a great deal of heat, primarily due to an ongoing feud with Eddie Edwards. He is also a regular on Lucha Underground under the name Jeremiah Crane. He competes regularly all over the world and always showcases that he is no one to mess with. This longtime veteran has worn several hats during the time that he has spent with WWE over the last 2 decades. When the fans first became aware of Billy Gunn, it was as one half of the tag team Smoking Guns, and as time would go on, he was given other characters such as Rockabilly, The One, and The Badass. During his time as the Badass Billy Gunn, he was a tag team champion on several occasions alongside the Road Dogg as the New Age Outlaws. That combination was highly successful, and both team members were able to parlay that success into working in different capacities for WWE after their careers came to an end. For Gunn, he was one of the trainers at the Performance Center in Florida. After leaving the company, Gunn would return to the independent scene and resumed his wrestling career, often using the name Kip Soft. He is still in tremendous shape and continues to mentor aspiring talents along with his son as well. The multi-talented Elle's career began in dancing as she performed on Carnival Cruises and then later became a dancer for the Miami Heat. In 2006, she would take part in WWE's Diva Search, and while she wasn't the winner, she did get a chance to get her feet wet performing on screen in front of a televised audience. She had a memorable career in wrestling. Layla would become a Divas champion and had feuds with several women, not to mention working as a manager and valet for the likes of William Regal and Fandango. Her career may have been brief, but for going from not having a wrestling background to developing a solid skill set as a performer, she should be commended. It was around the midpoint of 2015 that she announced her retirement. Today, Layla L is a real estate agent who is also married to former WWE ECW talent Ricky Ortiz. The two had married in 2015, and they live in Glendale, Arizona. This former Triple Crown winner definitely had memorable moments during his time in WWE, whether it was winning the 2006 Royal Rumble, capturing the World Heavyweight title, or WWE title. Mysterio is a fan favorite whose wrestling style has always resonated with young fans. In the winter of 2015, it was officially announced that he was departing from the company nearly 10 months after his last appearance on TV. While some of that time was so Mysterio could heal from an injury, the majority was due to not being booked. Today, Mysterio is as relevant as ever. He has competed in New Japan, spent a couple of seasons on Lucha Underground, and competes fairly regularly with AAA in Mexico. He also takes independent bookings all over the world, and fans were quite pleased to see Mysterio appear at the 2018 Royal Rumble and the inaugural Greatest Royal Rumble. Arguably the most iconic wrestler in history, Hulk Hogan is known all over the world. He's faced such names as Roddy Piper, Ric Flair, Andre the Giant, and The Rock during his lengthy storied career. A multi-time world champion, Hogan competed for WWE on multiple occasions. When he returned for the 4th time in 2014, it wasn't in a wrestling capacity, but rather as an ambassador, appearing on TV on several occasions. He took on the role of a judge as part of the 2015 Tough Enough program alongside Paige and Daniel Bryan. He left the company in 2015 amidst controversy as video recordings of Hogan were released where he made racist statements. Today he appears to be keeping the lines of communication open with WWE in hopes of a return. In the meantime, he is actively involved in several business ventures outside wrestling, including a marketing distribution company as well. This name may not resonate all that much, but Zahra Schreiber became infamous during her time with WWE. Even though she was in developmental and only had a couple of televised appearances for NXT, she first tried out for the company in 2014. But it was her second tryout that gained her a contract with the company. She wore a couple of different hats in smaller roles with NXT. She was one of Adam Rose's Rosebuds and made a minor appearance in the 2015 season of Tough Enough. Her name first came to the attention of fans when she was accused by the girlfriend of Seth Rollins of having an affair with the main roster star. Later on, when she shared photographs on her social media that displayed Nazi artifacts, it led to her termination from the company. Fans were left to wonder what could have ultimately come of her career in WWE. Today, Schreiber has appeared for various independent promotions, and she is currently dating SmackDown Live wrestler Sonya Deville. And these were 10 released wrestlers in 2015 and where they are now. I hope you're all having an amazing day. Thank you so much for watching Wrestling Hub, and I'll see you later with more wrestling videos.